All right, so I'm going to tell you a story about something that happens to me pretty much every day of my life. Like, no matter what it is that I'm doing, let's say I'm going to school, and, as soon as I park and I'm getting in the elevator, I already have my headphones in before I left the car, and somebody gets in the elevator, and I just immediately, I feel the moment getting a little bit boring, a little bit like, okay, what am I doing? I just immediately, pick up my phone and just start scrolling. Any, second of boredom that comes up, when I'm not doing anything. And sometimes even if you are doing something, I'm just immediately filling that with Instagram, with something else, with just not letting myself be bored because I'm feeling like the boredom is bad. Like there's something, whether it's just straight up it feels bad or whether it looks uncool to be bored, it's just not letting myself feel the boredom. And I'm realizing now that when you're doing that in the moment, it feels like you're gaining control over your boredom. Like you're saying, oh, here's this bad emotion, I can immediately turn it off. Like you're exercising power over your emotion. But in reality, I think it's honestly that emotion controlling you. After a certain point, you're just not allowed to experience that emotion, and companies are profiting off it. Instagram is designed to give you this problem. If you're not immediately stimmed, if you're even watching a movie or going out to eat with a friend or something and you're just bored for a second and you just pull out Instagram, it's controlling you at that point. Nowadays there's basically infinite content, right? On Reels, and now even AI generated stuff, so there's basically genuinely infinite content. And just I think thankfully my generation is a little bit more locked in on spending your money in the right place, not buying from Temu or something, trying to cut back on Amazon, trying to support local places or things that are good quality, and tapping in with secondhand markets. When my mom gets a haul from Temu or whatever, I'm like, Mom, don't be doing that. But I think we're getting to a point where we also are getting flooded with mass produced entertainment. And just we have to be more conscious about where we spend our money, we also have to be more conscious about nowadays where we spend our attention. Because just you're going to buy something cheap and you're going to end up supporting something bad and ending up with an item that is just going to turn into trash eventually. It's the same thing with your information. You're not consuming anything meaningful, you're not consuming anything intentionally. If you're watching a movie and you're really engaging with it, or reading a book, or even a long form YouTube video where you're really turning your brain on and listening to it and focusing on it, that's one thing because you're deciding to do that. But when you're taking these moments in your life that are just you're just trying to run away from an emotion, you're filling it with just random shit. And also when you do that, you're completely stepping out of your own life. You're basically saying, my life isn't fun right now, it's not hyper stim, so I'm just going to turn off my life and start looking at somebody else's life on Instagram, on their Instagram story, or on Reels. And I think that's impacting a lot of people's ability to accomplish their long-term goals. Because in life, in your own life, you have these ideas, and when you come up with the idea for something to do, whether it's a creative project or some way that you want to make money or some just whatever thing that you want to do that's a new project you have or something, it feels great when you come up with it and you're imagining it all done and you're wow, this is going to be dope. But then there's these moments where when you're doing it, whatever that is, let's say you're painting, you have to go to the store and get the supplies and be bad at painting a bunch of times in order to actually end up painting. Me and my friend started we wanted to make a magazine, and we got really lucky. There was this really cool person that we were able to interview, and it was awesome when we told everybody we're gonna make this magazine, and we got this interview, and everybody's oh, let's go, that's awesome. But then when we got home after the actual interview and we had an hour's worth of voice memos to transcribe, that was a pain in the ass. It took a bunch of days of just doing slow stuff. And if we quit at that point, great, we had that idea and it sounded really cool when we said it, but we didn't actually do it. You have to encounter boredom, and it's boredom that you know, in the case of the elevator, like it's still going to go up if you scroll on your phone, but if you just can't get yourself to be motivated and you're just scrolling on your phone, like you're never going to accomplish those things that you've wanted to accomplish. And when you look back, you're like, wow, like how has it been so long that I've wanted to do this thing and I haven't done it? So even when your life feels slower day to day and you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to slow down and not look at Instagram. You know, my day feels like I did less or something because you had to sit in those moments. In reality, when you take a step back, you're taking these like slow steps every single day. It's like growing a garden. Like the idea of having the garden fully done sounds fire. You're like, this is awesome. Like I want this garden. But when you have to day by day water every plant, that kind of sucks sometimes. And you can't like you can't just water it all and get it done in a day. Like you really have to make this slow progress. And even when you're, you know, done with like one of the plants is in and it's grown or whatever, it's still not going to be as amazing feeling as just hyper stimming, whatever that is, whether that's like any vice of yours, like Instagram, whatever, taking these like bad moments. But when you have the whole garden, the whole thing to really notice, that's when you actually can see the full beauty of it and you have something substantial that you've done. And it's not about like, I don't know, like grinding hard, like grind set, like make $1 million, like Andrew Tate, drop ship, you know, whatever. It's about like doing something that you want to do yourself. Like something that, you know, proving to yourself that when you're passionate about something, there's something, you know, I love doing, I want to do, that you can actually do it. And so that's what it is. Even though it feels like you're controlling this emotion, it's really taking away your control of yourself, of your own life, of everything, of just your attention. And also just like besides, you know, a practical benefit, like how do you, you know, get stuff done or whatever, just your own attention to like slow your brain down just feels so much nicer when you can just accept the boredom. I think it always feels better when you get rid of like a fear or something, when you conquer a fear. And it's like we all have this fear of just being bored. And I think taking your attention back and accepting the boredom, it is like conquering a fear. And it's a more hidden fear that people have convinced you're like conquering by using Instagram and stuff. But in reality, it's just another fear. It's just another thing you're running from, another thing you're hiding from. When you're in that elevator, you get, you know, nervous almost if you're just like, oh, I'm bored. Or if you're watching this movie and you're realizing you literally can't not, how difficult it is to not pick your phone up. And I think that's like a good way to realize that this is controlling you. Yeah, I feel like it's just really important to like slow down like as much as possible. And I think there's a lot of ways to do that fully in your life and to gain your attention back like piece by piece or whatever. But I think like one of the easiest ways to do it, or it's like it's hard, but one of the most clear ways to do it is just to start accepting boredom. Like if you need to disable Instagram or delete it or whatever, or any apps that you're like spending your time on, like just sit and think or look around or whatever and like accept that boredom, like be okay with the boredom. And I think not only are you going to realize that like slowly, you know, one small step at a time, like you're doing things that are more fulfilling, but also just that like you feel a little bit more at peace and like okay, and your mind is like quieted down, like less anxious. So yeah, that's about it. I think boredom these days is something that a lot of people are like running from, but in reality I think, you know, it's something that you can accept in your life and something that you can really like learn about yourself from. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I never, like, this is my first YouTube video or whatever. I was really inspired by Paulie Walnuts, so if you like this video, go check out his channel because he has a lot of them, and it's just like free game, like infinite game. But yeah, go out there and be bored and get your attention back.